Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Working Trader, where we are looking at the Euro USD and GBPUSD, um, coming up with daily analysis and possible trade ideas for the day. And so let's jump to Forex Factory. Um, so today we do not have any high impact news for the US. Okay. And then in terms of the pound, we only have a speech. Okay, we only have a speech. So let's do a recap of yesterday. So yesterday we had this POI which had been violated, which had failed. Okay, and so the expectation was price was going to respect this POI and then continue bearish. All right, so it still can respect it. All right, although we can see that we've had a strong push up, and even now, at this time of recording, price is still strongly bullish. Okay, because the expectation was that once we mitigate this POI, then we are looking to see price go down towards this unmitigated extreme demand. Okay. And then when you look at the 4 hour, when we look at the 4 hour, one of these areas nested within the demand, within the daily demand, were eliminated, and then we have this one area at the extreme of this mitigated demand at the top, where price reached close enough. Okay, yeah, it did touch the proximal line, and that was the reaction point where we had a change in character. Okay, on the 4 hour to go bullish. Okay, however, we're still bearish. Okay, we're still bearish. So the expectation was that I was anticipating that this was going to fail. We had these relatively low highs, which I was saying they're likely going to fail. And if this POI is to hold, then at least we sweep that and then price pushes down. Now that happened, but price did not go down all the way to give us a good to any TP target. All right. In any case, because I was expecting this to fail and maybe see the extreme of this POI, right, on the lower time frame. So let's see. So on the 1 hour, we can see that yes, we did that sweep. Price had a decent reaction, but it was not enough for price to continue, either to reach this extreme demand or to take out this weak 1 hour swing low. And what has eventually happened is, obviously we would say that this was a weak supply, and the best one maybe to look for shorts would be this one at the extreme, but as you can see, that has also been eliminated. So which means right now price has shifted from bearish to bullish. So now we have a bullish break of structure, and then that is our 1 hour swing strong. Okay, so that's actually, that is our internal strong, and right there 1 hour IBOS. Okay, so we have that right there. Okay, so Veta break right there. Boom, boom. Oh, I didn't mark this well. Okay, so this is where we had our IBOS. Okay, so at this point we had shifted bullish. All right, and then we've had a shallow pullback, and then all of that just been taken. So as of now, on the lower time frame, we are clearly bullish. Okay. So let's go back up to the daily and let's look at the pound. So pound was a similar story. Okay, we came into this POI with the supply. Okay, and then on the 4 hour, this was a cleaner 4 hour supply. We hit the midpoint, had a reaction, but eventually took out that supply. Okay, the supply was eliminated. So meaning on the lower time frames, all right, both of these were eliminated. Okay, now we're seeing a bit of a reaction. Okay, so these POIs did not hold price to allow it to continue down. So this is internal, and this is where the internal shifted bullish. And then that's a shallow pullback, and then whether I can call that internal, I'll call that a fractal structure break. Okay, I think it's quite shallow, so I'll call it fractal structure break. Alright, so let's start on the 1 hour and look at what we can expect today. So back to the euro. Okay, so it could be possible, alright, that this is the end of the pullback. Okay, so we've already had a very strong continuous pullback. This could be the end of that pullback, and because prices already reached discounts, and we could be seeing price now ready to go high, attacking the weak internal high and the weak swing high. On the 4 hour, 4 hour is still bearish. Our swing is still bearish. However, our internal, we had a 4 hour choke. We had our 4-hour choke, right, and then we've been bullish since then. So I'll still keep this as my strong, for our internal. And this is my week. Week for our internal low. So all of these are now mitigated. Alright. So it's likely that they could fail. Okay. Likely that they could fail, or at least give a bit of a reaction. So let's see on the 1 hour if we have anything. So that's failed, that's been eliminated, that was taken out. So right now we are right there. That was mitigated here, so we expect deeper mitigation right there, and that's what's happening. Okay, so if this is to hold, if we are to look for shorts, right, to continue going short, we will be waiting for this low to go, so price to drop, right, take out this low, create another brand new supply area, and then we can look to short from there. Otherwise, as it stands on the 1 hour at the extreme, we really don't have anything else to look at. Okay, so that means we'll be waiting for confirmation, which is pretty much price mitigates, creates a brand new area of supply, and then we look to take shots from that supply. Or you could just wait, anticipating that this will fail, and that now price is ready to go bullish to take out or to continue the daily internal and swing trends which are bullish. So those will be the two options: to wait for a new supply to be formed, either here or in here, or for this to fail, and then we look to trade the demand to go up. Okay, to go up, maybe towards this area. Okay, so that's for the Euro USD. That's what we can be anticipating. And then for the pound, prices and supply, it's reacting from demand. Okay, the demand was in discount, but there's not much from the daily that we can take. So let's look at the 4 hour. Looking at the 4 hour, this is my week 4 hour internal low, and then that supply has been eliminated, and then we have mitigated that supply over there. So if anything, we can then either we could wait for this lot to be taken, and then we create a new supply, and then we take shorts from that new supply area that may be formed. So what does that mean on the 1 hour? On the 1 hour, that is failed. That is also failed. Do we have anything at the extreme? The extreme has been mitigated once, twice. So we'll be expecting a deeper mitigation, which is what has happened. So we've pretty much swept these highs. So you could look at that as a liquidity sweep. That's on the 1 hour. 1 hour liquidity. So you could look at that as a sweep. And then if we break this low, okay, then that means we possibly create another supply area where we can then look for shorts from that, okay, if it's to continue bearish. Otherwise, even when you look at extreme, there's nothing fresh. This has also been mitigated. So the expectation would be either we create a new area of supply and then we trade short from there, or we'll continue and we take out these areas of supply, and where can we target and possibly maybe wait for a reaction somewhere up there, okay, and wait for a reaction somewhere up there. So that means as of now, we could either wait for a new supply area to be formed and then we trade confirmation, okay, we trade the confirmation, or we could wait for these supply areas to fail, right, anticipating that the trend is probably now shifting bullish, and then we're looking for those longs. So I think that's it for today. Other than that, have a great day. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. And Working Trader out.